I am Felipe.
I am Renee.
And I am Mariana.
We are fortunate enough to have studied abroad.
We face challenges to reach our dreams.
And like us, many others have taken the risk.
This space is for all of us to share our tales,
our experiences, and our victories.
This is our international path.
Hello guys, welcome to a new episode of our International Path podcast. I hope you are having a great day, and if not, I hope this podcast makes you have a good day, or at least cheers you up a little bit. Today we have a new host, as you can see if you are in YouTube, and if not, you are about to be introduced to her again, because she was our latest guest. She was in charge of our social media, yeah.
She's still helping us with
but
that.
But now she became another host. And without further to say, I'll introduce you to Mariana. Mariana, you can tell us more about you.
Hello guys, thank you for having me again. This time like as a team member, as a host. I'm so excited to see where this goes. And yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks to this union with Mariana, as having her as a co-host, the third co-host, she was able to contact us with one of her friends from childhood. Can you tell us more about her before we introduce her better?
Yes, of course. So her name is Marie-Carmen, and I met her while we were both going to ballet classes. And I'm not sure how long we were there, but I did ballet for 10 years, and we'll see how long did she do. This time now she is living in Toronto, so we'll see what her international path is.
Hello, Marie-Carmen.
Hello!
How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Very good, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Great to see you. Good, thanks. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So we were just introducing yourself just a little bit. Well, Mariana, who knows you better than us, like way better than us, she was like telling us where kind of she met you and everything. But I think that if there is someone who can introduce yourself better than any of us, it's you. So if you want to tell us more about you, go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mariana, for the introduction. My name is Marie-Carmen, but here in Canada, I go as Marie-Carmen or MC. I was born in Mexico, and I lived there most of my life. In Mexico City. And then when I turned 16, I actually moved here to Ontario, Canada. We first moved to Oakville, and then soon after we moved to Burlington. So I finished high school here, so from grade 10 to grade 12. And then I started university at the University of Toronto a couple of years ago. I'm doing a double major in biology and English literature. I couldn't pick, so I just picked both.
Wow!
I'm very lucky that my university had that option. So I'm doing a major in those. I'm currently a third year. And for fun, I actually am a member of a band, which I formed about a little over a year ago. We're called Northcode, and we just released some music. So that's a shameless plug right there, but
It's okay.
gotta do it.
It's okay. It's okay to promote yourself. Like, that's what we are here for. Like,
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Actually, all of us heard your music, and we
Yeah.
loved it.
Oh, you
It
did
was really
it.
good.
So sweet. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
It was our homework.
yeah, it was
Go ahead.
shocking to me, like when Mariana was telling us about you. Like she was like, oh yeah, she has a band and everything. So I assumed that you were a musician, right? But then she was like, oh, and she's making a major in biology. So it was like, wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like,
weird. But you know what?
but it's
I guess for me, music never existed in the same plane as academics, exactly. You know, I know some people do study a lot of the theory and then they end up studying that at the university level and even get master's PhDs, which is amazing. And we need people to do that. But for me, at least, you know, music was a separate thing from my school and academic life. So I just kept it that way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I was very lucky to meet along the way some really wonderful friends and musicians as well. And I think one of the best things about living in Canada is the amount of multiculturalism that we have. And so we have lots of people from all over the globe right here. And so many of my friends, including my bandmates, aren't originally from Canada either, which has brought in some really great perspectives for the band and the way we see music and also the way we see the world. So I don't know if you've experienced that yourself, living here in Canada.
I mean, yeah, like we were saying that in previous episodes that like university here is like very multicultural. Like there's a lot of people from all around the world and a lot of like people from India too. So we can understand that way of like living, because you're in Canada, yeah, but like you're also like living and sharing with like other people, and you start to learn like their traditions and whatever they want to share with you, right? So I think it makes you like see the world differently, I think.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. You know, when I first moved here, I thought it was a little strange just because you're so used to living life and seeing things from one singular cultural perspective. And then here, as I said, it's like a cultural haven. There's people from all over the world. And I think it's really great that it's a society that's built on respect and valuing each other's opinions and points of view. And so I really learned a lot about everyone that I've met. And yeah, exactly what you say.
Yeah. Big question. How did you start your band?
Yeah, so music has always been a huge part of my life ever since I was young. It started with my dad. My dad is super into music. So I remember I was maybe like 5 and he'd be playing the piano and we'd be kind of dancing and singing around him. And so he was kind of the one who introduced us to all of that. And when I was 12, I started taking guitar lessons, acoustic guitar. And bless that man, he had the patience of a saint. Because I had lots of energy back then. I'm pretty sure it was a little annoying. Anyway, so music had always been a part of my life. And then when I moved to Canada, I was grade 10. My high school had a rock club, which I thought was really fun. And so I decided to join alongside my brother. So I have a younger brother, before I forget. He's 2 years younger than me. His name is Miguel Angel. And he insists on being called Miguel Angel. So I think that's really great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I changed a little bit the pronunciation of my name I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Just because it made life a little bit easier. So anyway, I joined this club with him. And so we started with a small band right then and there after school. It was run by a teacher. And so that lasted about a year. And a year after that, a friend of mine from that same high school said, hey, you know what? Why don't we start a band outside of school? Mm-hmm. And we did that for a little while. And that's where I met the drummer of my current band, as well as our current keyboard player. So, yeah. We played with that band for a couple of years. So we learned a lot. We were figuring out how that worked outside of the school curriculum kind of rigid
Yeah.
feeling that we used to have, or guidance that we had rather. And we decided to start a band about 6 months after that second band broke up.
Oh.
Yes, that's okay. You know, I guess it was just life. You know, the one who was really leading that band was the friend who invited me. And so when he left, the band just kind of dissipated.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I see.
You know, it happens. It just kind of dissipated, and we were all really busy with university applications, that kind of stuff. And I realized that I really missed that aspect of my life. So I called up some friends and I said, hey, what do you say? We get together and we set a show for a band battle that's going on in Burlington, which is where I live.
Yeah.
And we did that. So I called up the drummer from the previous band. I called up a friend of mine who played keys. I called up another guitarist that I barely knew and is now a really good friend of mine. And it was my brother. So it was in total we were 5 or 6, I think. And we were very lucky that we won one of the prizes that they were giving out. So we got to play at a festival
Pretty
that
cool.
summer. Yeah.
Wow.
And so that whole year, which was, I think, 2 years ago now? A year ago. We were just gigging like crazy as much as possible, gaining as much of experience as we could, learning from each other, writing songs. And we were super, super lucky that by the end of August, we were selected as one of Burlington's most up-and-coming artists, which was
wow.
big.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. So we actually got to play at the Burlington Road Fest, so which was crazy. You know, it's stuff that you kind of dream of, but never really think is gonna happen. So we were super lucky, super thankful for that opportunity. And soon after we got together to record, we decided to try to do as much as we could ourselves. So we did a lot of the recording in our basement. We sent it off for mastering with Peter Letros in Toronto. And yeah, the rest is history. We've got some songs on Spotify and Apple Music and all that jazz. But I think it's been really great as well. And we've been able to do a lot of what we've done because our city has been really supportive, and there's been a lot of opportunity for that music scene.
Oh, that's amazing, Marie-Carmen.
That's really cool.
Actually, I do remember that in your quinceañera, your 15-year-old birthday party, you sang. Yes, and I was like, wow, I can't believe like you had the courage to just go there in the stage and sing in front of all that people. And like you own the stage for sure. Yeah, and now that I saw you in your videos in YouTube, I'm like, yeah, she always had it in her.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That was actually the first time I played I had a performance, like quinceañera.
Oh, that's cool.
For those of you who might not know, quinceañera is when, a girl turns 15, and it's a big celebration because she's a woman now. So
yes,
that's the idea behind it. So you're presenting this lovely lady to society. She's pulling up some pictures so you can see with a big puffy dress. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like a mini wedding almost.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And then many women and young women decided to dance, but I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different for a show. And at the time I was playing music with my family. As I said, my dad was really into music, so he played the drums and my brother and I played guitar and we sang some songs. It's a good time.
Yeah, because actually, like I previously mentioned that we met while we were taking ballet classes. And yeah, like most of our classmates, what they did for their quinceañera was like to make a small choreography and perform in front of their friends and family. But you were like, no, I want to sing. And most of us didn't know that you sing. We were like, wow.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. You know what? I guess I honestly wasn't very good at ballet.
But they were fun times.
Yeah, there were definitely some really good times. It was really fun. I know you did dance, didn't you? Your quinceañera. You had a quinceañera.
Yes, yeah, I did, and I danced. Made a small choreography, like here in like my small room. I came up with it, like taking some steps from our exercises we used to have in class. Like, oh, I think I like these arms and this step. I like it, and I just started putting them all together, and I made my small choreography for my party.
That's really nice. I think you mentioned it was Mockingjay inspired from the Hunger Games. Is that right?
Yes, that's so right. Yeah, because I was obsessed with the Hunger Games, guys. Like, really,
I remember
read
that.
the series
Yeah, I
like
just
2
remember
times,
that.
Spanish and English, the movies like 10 times. I just found like some posters and merch that I bought, the earrings, the pen, and yeah, I was obsessed that even in my quinceañera party, I'm like, okay, I wanted to have like this small detail of the Hunger Games. So my dress was, I remember it was a short black puffy dress because like it reminded me of when Katniss was just like thrilling and it changed to the Mockingjay. And I'm like, yeah, I need words also for the ballet performance. I had my pin and I braided my hair, of course. And I had I think my birthday cake was also of the Hunger Games, all made with fondant and the Mockingjay in there. And also my invitations had a Mockingjay. And yeah, everything. I'm not gonna hide it. It's true.
It's okay. It happens. It happens. And I love their Hunger Games too. Yeah.
Yes, great.
It's great. It's great. I read all the books. They're fantastic. Actually, I was a huge rebel. Let me just say, because my mom had read online somewhere that young kids should not read the Hunger Games because it's violent, which it kind of is. But it's kind of the premise kid. It's okay. And I remember she had already bought it for me. I was a huge reader. I think I was 11 or 12 when it came out. So she hid it from me. And then one day when she left, what did I do? I found it and I read it all. In one single night, I did not sleep. I read it all. And let me tell you, nothing feels better than anything that you're not supposed to be doing.
Oh my god, in one night. Wow.
Yeah. So it was good. So I can tell you, I really like the Hunger Games too.
Yes, of course. Do you guys like the Hunger Games?
I mean, I watched the movies.
They're good. Although for me, I think the obsession that I had was definitely One Direction.
Same.
Too.
Yes. Yeah, it was like alongside between the Hunger Games and One Direction.
Yeah, it was around the same time. Yeah, too.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my god, I love Peter Millark, but I also love Niall Horan. So yeah.
What do you think of
they
his
were
new
products
music?
made for your age, you know? Like literally you
That's
were
true.
the target. Like
That is true.
13-year-old girls, like
They got me good.
They got me spending money.
Absolutely. My room was full of posters of them. I owned every single CD. I had the sweatshirt, the t-shirt. I had it all. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let me tell you,
same.
I was crazy. I had this app on my phone, my iPhone 3, which compiled all the information line about that was released that day about One Direction. So I was very heavily and very well, Informed, exactly. Very well informed about what was going on in their lives. So if one of them had chocolate ice cream instead of the regular vanilla on a Friday, I would know. It's that level
I didn't know that
obsession that I had for One Direction. And then I just grew out of it.
Female artist like that, is it? Like,
sorry?
Renee?
For guys?
Like, there is no like a female band like that. Like, there is. I've never been obsessed with an artist like that. Like, knowing what they like. Like, I don't know. There hasn't been any.
I mean, I think it's
super
more of
high,
sports for guys, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But like, has there been any like female band like One Direction, but all female? That like
these little mix and the Spice Girls.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think guys really like obsessed about them actually. Well,
yeah, exactly.
I think guys obsess more about like men bands, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my god, Metallica or Guns N' Roses or stuff like that, and
yeah, but even then, they don't really form the fandoms.
Yeah, it's not like, oh,
they're not that crazy.
Ate ice cream for first time.
You know, like there's not an equivalent of like The Believer that's almost exclusively men for a female band or a female artist. And for example, Taylor Swift, I dare say that the majority of her followers are women as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like her songs. Well, like just one album, like I think that it's the 21. Yeah, right. That's the name of the album.
22, I think. Right.
22.
Because
it's the one where it says the style.
But that's not the red one.
Oh, that's the name. You got it. That's the name.
Yeah, I got it.
See, we got there. We got there in the end. Good teamwork.
Yes. But yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
No.
I was gonna ask, where did your biology passion came from? Because like we know about music and literature, but like biology.
Biology, where did it come from? Excellent question. It's funny. Actually, when I was let me backtrack. I went to a regular brick and mortar school when I was in Mexico, and then from grade 5 up until grade 9, which is when I moved to Canada, I was actually homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
So I was homeschooled by a school in the US called Calvert. And so this school would send me a massive box full of books and a manual, which was divided by days. And each day said, okay, it was basically a lesson plan. Today you have to do from X to Y pages of history and answer this online quiz, that kind of stuff. Which is kind of what all kids are doing right now with COVID.
Yeah, I was about to say that you had quarantine before quarantine.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm prepared for this.
I was ready. I was ready to go. So I feel right at home right now. But yeah, so I was doing that with this school, and I remember somewhere along the way, they said, hey, you seem to really like biology, so we're going to put you in the advanced placement classes for biology that they had at the time. And so from that moment on, I was obsessed with it. I loved it so much. I'm just fascinated by just how it is that we're here, you know? There are two different questions. Why are we here? And kind of like, how are we here? And how do we work?
Yeah.
The why are we here? You can't really fully answer, I feel like. You'd have to ask someone who's doing a major, not in biology, but in
philosophy.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah, we could talk for hours about that. But yeah, I was really fascinated by this life and that aspect of it from a very young age. And so that kind of opened the gates for me to like, I'm kind of good at this and I really like it. So I was able to do that. And then the English side of it happened just because I was always a huge reader. So I actually started university just as a biology major, and I was trying to do a double major in biology and chemistry. And then let me tell you, first year was really bad, academically speaking. I had a great time. Let me tell you, it was fantastic. But my grades were absolutely terrible. And the worst ones were chemistry. And I realized, you know what? I like it, but I'm not very good at it. And I do miss a more humanities-based side of, academics, which I had always done. And so I decided to bring English back into my life. So I did the switch for second year, and I'm doing it now as well. So I'm really happy I did that. I think many people can be afraid to make that jump sometimes. But if you're listening and you're thinking about it, do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
How is it coping with two different majors and then the band? And isn't it sometimes like too much?
Sometimes it feels that way, but I think it has to do a lot with time management. And at least for me, the double major hasn't been that difficult either, because my school, I'm at U of T, has this thing where you either do a specialist, you do a double major, or you do a major and 2 minors. So in the end, you have to get 20 credits. And a specialist is 20 credits, let's say, on just one single thing, and then the major is 10, and the minor is 5. So in the end, I'm kind of having the same workload as everybody else. It's just a little bit of a strange combination, I think. But to answer your question, I feel like since I'm doing stuff that I really enjoy, it doesn't really feel that much as work. And I know that sounds super cliche, like this girl is lying, but it's true. And I think it's really great because I get to have breaks from everything as well. So it's very refreshing to be able to switch, for example, from a very science way of thinking to a more liberal way of doing things. And then music, as I said, has always been something external from academics. So it's something I kind of go to after a long day. Like, I write songs about, I'm so stressed, I don't like school. But really, I do.
Yeah, like that's why it caused me like a huge confusion. Like I was like, how does she make biology and music at the same time? Because I also imagined you, like when I was searching you before I listened to your music, I saw you like with a guitar and everything. And I was like, maybe she plays metal or something like that, like very heavy metal. So I could imagine you like with, I don't know, Mozart or stuff like that, studying biology. And then you just like play metal. Like, it was like a huge contrast,
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because my our guitarist, his name is Jerry. He actually came originally from China. And he's super into heavy metal, like insane. And I remember I first met him, and I was like, wow, I'm not sure if we'll have anything in common. But we did, and we worked really well together, and I love the guy to bits. But yeah.
I heard he's solo in one of your songs. What's the name of that one? Something
in the dark, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that one is very good.
Thank you for listening. You paid attention. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, so he plays heavy metal, and then our keyboard guy is really into jazz. So it's this really weird fusion that we've got going on. Sure.
Yeah, I really enjoy it because it starts very slow. Like I like that kind of songs when they are slow and then they go all crazy like heavy metal. Like that's very cool. It's very refreshing, And also like, I don't know, I feel that you're the vocalist, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like it gives like that, like, I don't know, it's like very, how to say it, like innocent, and then it goes like heavy. I don't know.
It's funny you say that because, I've written some of the songs and they start off really sweet. And then I do the band and, it all comes together and it ends up being something completely different.
Have they ever asked you like to make like the you know, the metal noise, the
I can't do it. I've tried. I've honestly tried, but I can't.
It would be interesting.
because you have like a very sweet voice, and then just having like that drop, like that would be super nice. Like, even if someone else in the group does it, it would be such a like it would be such
You know, I'll consider it. I'll bring it to the next band meeting.
Let me know if they add it. Like, I would love to hear that.
And if not, we'll have you as a special guest because you can do it very well.
Yeah, believe me. Yeah, you're in Toronto
right
as
there,
well.
yeah.
Why not?
It's true, you're in Toronto. We can make it happen.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I was also thinking about like how music, like it's very different, because in your case it brought people together, but in my case, I really hate playing music. Like, I hate it.
We
And
need
you play
because
music?
our music class, yeah.
the
Like,
recorder.
in your case, you had an amazing teacher, right? Like, he was like, he listened to you.
Patient.
He was very supportive, patient. In our case, like Renee, Mariana, and I, we had the same class, and the teacher, he wasn't bad, but he was like very mean sometimes. He could get
Very.
mean.
He was too
Yeah,
strict.
Like, in
Strict and
Mariana and Renee's case, they were the good kids. They were not.
Mariana wasn't.
I wasn't. I couldn't play. I was so
That's
bad.
different. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel that you guys were like the good guys, because they used to play the how do you say, pianica, or
Let me see.
I mean, it's like a really small keyboard, and
Yeah.
it has like a hose that you blow on it, and then you play. So I
This one?
remember, yeah, that one. I remember perfectly that Rene was good at it because he also played the
I played
keyboard and the piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't. So whenever he used to teach us like really fast how to play a song, and then he wanted us to
Do it.
perfectly the first time, and I couldn't. So he got mad at me whenever I didn't hit the right note. So he used to look at me in a really mean face, and I was like, no, I hit
But
it. It felt
that's
so
it,
comfortable that sometimes I didn't play, and I let Rene play for me. Yeah.
so he only used to look at you with a mean face? That's
I mean,
it?
he once only said, well, he called me out once saying like, yeah, you don't know how to play. And I know perfectly that Renee's the one playing. Like, Renee, you're amazing. You're really good. You're saving these people. And I'm like, yeah, because we were only like 3 people, the one that played the piano.
Well, I wanted to play the keyboard, but he was like, no, we don't have people playing that instrument. So like, okay.
Well, like, there were a lot of them, but
Yeah.
like there was no space for you at that time. I remember.
I mean,
I remember I used to play the flute.
recorder.
You know, no, what?
It's called recorder.
Flute?
Recorder.
Recorder?
Really?
Or,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure? This is a new word for me.
Fake news.
Yes.
It is.
Okay,
You're
the
right.
recorder.
What? I've been living a lie.
Yeah, we all thought it was like a flute.
I've been calling that a flute for so many years.
Well, in Spanish, it's a flute, but I learned it because I worked at a summer camp, and one of my co-counselors brought a recorder, and then she would wake up her girls with the recorder, and then she told me, oh, I woke the girls up with the recorder. I was like, a recording of what? It's like, the recorder. And then she put it, I was like, oh, I know how to play it.
Man, like, I was garbage at it. Like, I never learned it. I was almost about to fail, like, primary
Music.
school.
Oh,
How do you say that? Like,
it's elementary school here.
elementary school. I was about to fail elementary school because of music. Like, I never learned how to read the
notes?
notes. I didn't know where to put my fingers. And this guy, like, when we started high school, he knew. He looked at me and he knew that I was garbage at it. And he kept insisting on, Felipe. And I remember he called me out so many times, and he was like he used to stop. He used to put down his guitar, and he was like, you know, you are like a hair in a soup. You are like a stone on rice. And I was like, what can I say? It came to the point where I stopped blowing. Like, just like Mariana, I stopped like playing. I was just like doing this, like drumming. And I remember one of my friends, he was like, Felipe, you're messing up. And I was like, I'm not even blowing, man. I'm not even blowing. And he was like, you're messing up, man. You're messing up. And it was him, right? And I was like, I'm not even blowing. I know it's not me. I'm not blowing. Like, there is no sound coming out. And this guy got mad at me because he noticed that my friend was like, Felipe, you're messing up. And the teacher was like, again, you again. Show me your fingers. And my fingers were like not even in the note. Like I didn't know what he wanted. Nah, he really hated me. And I remembered like one of the worst anecdotes, and well, like it's the worst for me, but it's very funny. It's when, so at this time we had like all weird voices, like we were changing. So he wanted
voices.
Yeah. So my voice was between like deep and like squeaky. So he was like, okay, Felipe, you need to tune up, right? So he went to his keyboard and he was like, okay, try to match the note, right? And he was like, you need to say your name, right? So he was like, ping, ping, ping. And he was like, okay. Wait, it's not that. Sorry. So he was like, ping, ping, ping. You need to match the note, right? And I was like, okay. And he was like, ping. And I was like, Felipe Martinez. He was like, okay, good. He was trying the other one, and he was like, ping, Felipe Martinez. And he went like all the way down. And when he was in the lower one, he was like, you're not getting there. And he was like, and I was like, Felipe Martinez. And it was summer, right? So by the time, like, I tried like at least 7 times, like, Felipe Martinez. And he was like, yeah, that's great. Like, I was like, I'm done. And literally when I was like, yeah, I started bleeding. Like, I had a nosebleed. So he was like, he overdid it, right? Like, everyone started laughing because it was like such a bad timing. Like, I got a, like, it was so hot that I started having a nosebleed, right? But the matching was like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I hate playing music. Like, I can't do it. I don't have like the skills. Like, I like listening to music, but trying to do it.
I'm sorry that happened to you, but maybe if you started on your own time without having that teacher, breathing down your neck, because it's really it's crazy the impact that a teacher can really have on you.
Yeah.
On any subject and on anything. I think definitely education and teachers are some of the most influential people in our lives, right? And I've had teachers who have been absolutely amazing and have completely changed the way in which I see the world. And then there's other teachers who, as the one that you mentioned, just like to make your life a little bit miserable. And yeah, I mean, I had a math teacher once, and she would just say I was terrible at it. Like, you're so bad. Like, you won't really go that far. And I actually started believing it. I was like, this is not my jam. And mind you, I'm not a natural at math. Obviously, I'm not very good at it. But I don't think it's healthy to have someone tell you that. Someone you look up to tell you that and tell you that kind of stuff and make you feel that way. And just a shout out to all the great teachers I've ever had. And if you're a teacher and you're listening to this or watching this, then props to you. Know that you can change a kid's life.
I mean, I think it's a difficult thing for a teacher, because I think that they need to get to that middle ground, right? Where they tell you like, yeah, you can do it, keep it going. Because there are people that want to be accountants and they don't know anything about math. Like, they are always failing, Like, I couldn't be an accountant. I was good at math. But if a teacher was like, you're amazing at math, Felipe, keep going, I would become an accountant. I would make someone lose his job or his family.
I guess that's true. And I know that many teachers are struggling right now with COVID, especially right now as well. I mean, for us, we're university students, and I feel like we still have that independence of doing things on our own. And professors, I don't know, for me, have been really accommodating. But for teachers for younger kids, that's being a struggle, I know, right now. You know, keeping kids online, keeping them paying attention. And I know, like, despite COVID, many schools are open now as well.
Yeah. And question, how was your experience being homeschooled?
It was actually really, really, I enjoyed it very much. I'd say it's not for everyone, definitely, but I enjoyed it very much and it worked for us. I think some of the things that I value most from that experience is the way that it changed the relationship that I had with my brother. Before being homeschooled, we really did not get along at all, not even a little bit. And then when we started homeschooling, we were kind of forced to be together a lot of the time. So that really completely changed our relationship, and we have a really wonderful one nowadays still. He's definitely my best friend, I'd say, right now, which is really great. And what I was really lucky to have as well was, despite the fact that I was doing homeschooling, I still had the social aspect outside of that. So, for example, I was going to ballet classes where I met this wonderful lady over here, Mariana. So that was definitely the case. And then now that everything's online again, people don't look at me as weird when I tell them I was homeschooled. So
now they understand you.
Now they understand a little bit better. I remember I used to tell them I was homeschooled. I'd be like, "What? Are you crazy?" And it's definitely not something that's very common. But now that this is going on, you know, I think they understand a little bit more what it was like.
Wait. I got lost. You were homeschooled all your life? Or
no, I was actually homeschooled from grade 5. So before that, I was going to a regular, I guess you could call it a regular school.
Okay.
And then having done that also made it a transition to moving to Canada almost seamless. Because a lot of the content was very similar, right? I was following the American curriculum. And then a lot of the terms, all the academic terms for all my classes, you know, were in the same language, so that was really easy for me to do. So that was definitely one of the biggest benefits from having done that, and then moving here. So when I moved here and started grade 10, I really did not struggle in terms of school.
So when you moved to Toronto, you kept doing homeschool?
No, I actually went to a Catholic school.
But how was the social aspect, like going back to school, meeting people? Now, not only like from the ballet that were girls, were Mexican girls, and then there's like people from all around the world, and
absolutely. I think, as I was saying earlier, I think Canada is really fantastic because it's built on an identity of respect and understanding, and that definitely played a role when I first moved here. When everyone was super welcoming, everyone was super kind, and I'm so thankful to everyone who was that way with me. So I guess I remember I was late the very first day of school. Because let me tell you, it's true when they say that Mexicans are not very punctual people.
Gotta agree.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I remember they said class started, I think, let's say arbitrarily 8:20, but the bell rang at 8:15. And I thought, well, that's fine. I'll be at class 8:20, no problem. But for all of you who might probably not know, bell rings 8:15. You have to be in the classroom at 8:15 because they
Canada.
play.
Canada.
And then I was in a Catholic school, so they also do a prayer. Yeah, no, it's okay. And then I think they introduced it in grade 11. We also have to do the ode to the Queen. So,
Wow.
Fancy.
yeah. So they do it through the intercom. So everyone is already in their classrooms, in their seats. We stand up as they play the hymn. Then you do the thing to the Queen, and then you have the prayer. So I didn't know that. So I
Wow,
showed up
that's
after
crazy.
everyone was already in their classrooms. And I remember I was walking in,
Yeah.
and the principal saw me that I just did not care. Because if something's going on in the intercom like that, you're supposed to stop right
Mhm.
where you are.
Especially with O Canada, you cannot move.
You cannot move. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this is a thing they do. And the principal saw me. He's like, hey, yeah, you gotta stop. I was like, what? I just kept walking. Yeah, see, I'm talking to you. You have to stop. So that was.
But how do they
cool.
stop? Like, do they just freeze?
Yeah, you're
Or-
supposed to freeze wherever you are.
Wow, that
You
has
just-
to be so scary.
Well, like not like you stop like this, like you just
Yeah.
stand, yeah, stop
Oh, okay,
moving.
okay. I
Yeah,
thought that
just
it would
stop
be
moving.
like
Yeah,
the world just stop. Like,
Yeah.
imagine not knowing this, and if everyone stops, like your freezes. That has to be so scary if you don't know anything, because
Well, that's
Yeah. So there were some things like that I didn't know. But even then, even though I entered into the classroom a little bit late and I didn't get to pick my seat, they put me next to this guy named Henry. And to this day, he's still one of my closest friends.
oh,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so everyone, such as this guy that I'm mentioning, Henry, was super welcoming and super understanding, which I think was really fantastic. And I'm super lucky and thankful for that.
yeah. I can't relate to that because I finished high school here like grade 12, and like I didn't know anyone or I didn't know nothing. And like in Mexico, I was in Tec de Monterrey, which is like university style high school and whatever. So like there's no bells, no nothing. You can just not show up to class and nobody's gonna say anything, right? So I remember like one day I wanted to skip class and I was there already in the morning. So like, no, I'm just gonna go back home. And then it was like 8:15, and then they started playing on Canada. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And then I walked by my classroom, and my teacher saw me, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going home." Like, yeah, but wait. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they called my dad because I didn't want to go to class, and my dad was like, "I don't care."
Yeah, that's true. And you know, I guess when I moved here as well, I decided that because of my age, I was supposed to go into grade 11 when I moved here. But in Mexico, we start school a year later compared to the Canadian kids. So I decided to go into the grade I would have gone into in Mexico. So I'm a year older than everyone else in my grade, which was really great for grade 11 and 12 because I was
You can just
18
sign up.
already,
Yeah.
which meant I could sign myself out.
Yeah.
And no one had to call my mom and let her know that I wasn't
Yeah.
in class.
Like I was 18, but I didn't know I should sign up. Like sign out. In Mexico, you just don't go or like leave. And then I was just doing that, and like I remember, like the first time I didn't show up to class, I was in the cab, and a teacher saw me, and then she was like, "Should you be in class or do you have a spare?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm just not gonna go to class." And then she's like, "How come?" It's like, "I just don't like my class. It was Earth
I
and
just
Space
don't want
Science."
to.
Yeah.
Savage.
And then she's like, "Okay, then let's go see the principal." And it's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, you're not going to class." Like, okay, so I go there, and like the guy knew me. She knew like I came from Mexico, whatever. Like we talk a lot, and it's like, "Why do you want to go to class?" Like, "Oh, I just don't want to go." I was like, "We need to call your parents, you know that?" Like, and I was like, "Why?" It's like, "Well, because you have to be in your classroom. Your parents need to know where you are." It's like, "Oh, really? That's not how it works in Mexico." Like, okay, just go to class, and if you're gonna go, like, sign yourself out. Like, you're 18, you can do that. I was like, oh, thank you. That's how I learned.
Yeah, it has its pricks being a year older though. I remember grade 12, it was prom night, and I had just turned 19.
19? Oh, yeah.
Because here in Canada, you need to be 19 to
In
drink.
Ontario.
In Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Quebec, it's 18.
Yeah.
But I remember I went to school the day we had prom, And then right after, I crossed the street in my uniform and I bought a giant bottle of rum in my uniform. Which is really great. It's something that none of the other kids could do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it. Like for prom, us here in Ottawa, we're like across the river from Quebec. So for prom, we have our prom here, and then our after prom is in Quebec. So everybody's drunk. So like, yeah, I just thought about it. Like in Toronto, you don't have that. It's weird
Yeah, I
to me.
guess so. Yeah,
me.
I mean, my prom was really fun. But I think something that's really strange that I found really strange was almost everyone was looking forward to the after prom more than the actual prom. So everyone got dressed up for prom and it was a great time. But everyone left early. I was impressed by that. By 10, there was no one at the venue. Everyone was at the after party, getting drunk.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a good time, but even then, you know, you pay this ticket, you're at this beautiful venue. I just thought it was strange that nobody wanted to stay.
I guess that it's more for the parents, you know?
No, parents don't go there.
Really?
Yeah,
No, not the after party. Like
No, not even
Prom
prom.
itself.
not even,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
here it's just for us.
what's
Yeah,
the
it's
point?
just the students.
The point.
Yeah, even in the US, it's only for the students. The parents don't go.
Although parties here, I mean, they need to switch up the music. I don't know if you can agree with me or not, but I mean, there's nothing like having some danceable music playing
Yeah.
at parties, because they only play trap, I feel like.
Uh-huh.
It
That's
can be
it.
fun, but you just kind of like wobble
That's
there.
all
like
the
this.
time, yeah.
Where's the salsa? Where's the
Yeah,
cumbia?
the cumbia.
What are we gonna do without that? You know?
And then what's this song that it says like La mano arriba, cintura sola, something like that? When they
that's
play it,
Arturo.
Yeah.
when they play that, people just like move. I'm like, they're literally telling you to like raise your hands, like do it.
They don't know Spanish. Right?
They don't know Spanish. You can't
I
judge
know.
them. You'll have to teach them next time.
It's just funny how like I'm dancing, they're looking at me weird, like I'm doing what they say.
Yeah, like it's weird to go to that kind of parties like here. Like I feel uncomfortable. Like when I got here, like to college, I went to what's the name? They call it Frosh. It's like
like the first
those
week,
like little party
Welcome week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they invite like rappers, stuff like that. But for me, it's kind of uncomfortable because, like, they start saying the N-word, like, you know, in the songs, in the lyrics. And I don't know if I should sing it or, like, I just freeze.
No.
Like, I'm just like,
Don't sing it.
No, don't say it.
Don't say it.
yeah, I just freeze. You know,
There you
it's
go,
like-
you gotta answer.
Yeah. And also, like, you need to go, like, upstairs, like, to drink even just a beer. Like, it's so...
It's very controlled
Why?
environment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, I need, like, my cumbia.
Exactly.
Yes, I miss that so much. What do you miss the most about Mexico, Marie-Carmen?
Oh, my family, definitely. That's who I
You don't live
miss
with
the
them?
most. I live with my direct family, so my parents and my brother. But my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts, and my cousins, I mean, they're still in Mexico. And we're still in contact, you know, Zoom and text messages, that kind of stuff. But it's not the same. So it's been a while since I last saw them. And that's definitely something that I miss the most. Also, the food. There's definitely that aspect that, I mean, Mexican food is absolutely delicious. And that's wonderful. And friends as well, like Mariana over here. But yeah, I say that's definitely what I miss the most. And now that we're talking about it, I feel like Mexico, when you're thinking about a food that I'm talking about food, there's so many different dishes that are traditional to Mexico. Whereas here in Canada, I feel like poutine is the only thing that Canada can claim.
Yeah, like we have a lot of guests and they're like, I only know poutine for Canada. Do you guys know anything else? I'm like, no.
I feel like it's just poutine. But going back to Canada being such a multicultural country, I've gotten to try foods from all around the world. And there's people that are authentic from that place that are making authentic food, and it's delicious. And it's absolutely fantastic to be able to try that. For example, there's this restaurant in Toronto. I can't remember the name. It's in Chinatown. But I remember I went there once.
Yeah. Chinatown, it's just like packed.
And the food was out of this world. I was like, what? Panda Express has been lying to me this whole time.
It's like Taco Bell.
You came to Chinatown, Toronto, or?
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah. Like, it's such a weird place because they have so many things. Like, it's so interesting because you can enter to a random place where they have like the dogs like hanging, and it's so good. Like, you can enter to any place and it tastes good.
Yeah, in Chinatown, it's like you took a portal somewhere else. Which is really interesting as well.
Oh, amazing. I'm starting to crave Chinese food. I love that so much.
It's delicious. And I've also discovered my love for shawarma. I love shawarma so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about living abroad, that you can try, like, you meet people from different countries and then they introduce you to their culture, and then you like learn firsthand about, I don't know, Indian, Chinese, or anything, and it's amazing. I think that's like, it's really amazing, an amazing experience, the one we're living.
Absolutely. And you realize that you really do have a lot in common with all of these people, because in the end we're all, human.
Yeah.
I think it sounds silly. It does. But coming from a country that does not have that kind of identity, such as Mexico, it's really kind of like you versus the world.
Yeah.
And then when you move somewhere like now and you meet people from all over the globe, you realize that you really have a lot in common, and there is really no reason to have, the kinds of racism and discrimination that's going on around the world,
Yeah.
We've talked about that like in other episodes. Like, here we have like that, like we have a lot of like communication between other types of people, like from different countries and stuff like that. And you really need to, like us as international students and people that come from another place, that they are not like Canadian.
Immigrants.
Yeah. Like, we need to search for that like richness.
Oh no.
To learn more about them. Oh, I froze.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you froze. Can you say that again?
Richness.
Yeah, like we need to like search for that kind of like interactions with people from around the world, so you can like have more perspectives. Like, not only talk like with the people from Mexico, or Canadians, because we are just gonna have two perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And I remember I was hanging out with some friends once from university, many international students, many immigrants, as you were saying, and we were joking around that it was a super multicultural situation. We have people from all over the globe, and it's really great to have that, as you were saying, introduction to different perspectives and way of seeing things.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So before we leave, do you want to promote your band or any project you're working on?
Yeah, I'll do a shameless plug once more. Woo!
Yay.
Please check us out on Instagram and Facebook as @northcode.band. That's @northcode.band. We have a website too, northcodeband.com. We can keep you updated there. Listen to our songs on Spotify, Apple Music, and you can follow me on Instagram too as @Marie_Carmen99. So thank you guys so much for having us. For having me. I really, really appreciate it. It's been great meeting you and chatting with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming.
No, thank you so much. It was so nice to see you again. I got a chance to talk to you and know more about your experience. Like it's great how you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to see you, and I'm glad that you've been doing really well as well yourself.
Oh, thank you. So we'll keep in touch, keep updated, and thank you so much.
Follow
Absolutely.
us. Also follow us, guys, on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at our Patsy, and our Patreon if you wanna support us.
Yes, go support their Patreon. Do it now.
Yes. Felipe needs a microphone, please. Please.
Greatly appreciated.
Anyway, thank you, Marie-Carmen and Felipe and Mariana. Yeah, we'll stay in touch and see you guys later. Bye.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.